Good morning from Panhandle Outdoors, America's only daily outdoor TV show. Your source for fishing, hunting, and information for folks who enjoy the great outdoors. Now sit back, relax. It's Panhandle Outdoors.
Good morning, folks. Welcome to Panhandle Outdoors. I'm Winston Chester. Glad you're here this morning. We got a great show lined up, but first our weather brought to us by Haney Technical Center. High today 87, low 74. Water temperature all the way down to 87. We lost 1 degree yesterday, so that's a good sign. This week we got a little bit of rain. It's just, today's hump day, and we'll get over it. But it looks like this weekend now is shaping up for a good outdoor weekend. I can tell by the river readings. Both rivers are in good shape. How about the Apalachicola is below 2 foot? First time it's been below 2 foot since last winter. It's like 1.9. 1.9 is the Apalachicola reading at Bluntstown. The Choctaw-Careville is right now at a 3.2, and it's going to go up just a little bit. But the Apalachicola, I just want to go and tell you now, it's an excellent time. This weekend will be an excellent time to go in that river system, get up in those sloughs and get some of those little BB flies and do some serious fly fishing up in there. They're ready. They're in there, I can tell, and it's sort of a well-kept secret. They don't like to talk about it, but the locals in there will be in there this weekend and all fishing for some brim and all up in those sloughs with the BB flies. All right, that's your fishing hint for today. Tide chart brought to us by Kent Forest Lawn. We're in neap tides, not much movement right there, and our wind direction will be coming out of south at about 8 miles an hour. Let's take our break. Hey, before we take a break, I want to say a special good morning to Larry Brown and all the folks up there in Bunker. A lot of them watch the Panhandle Outdoors who appreciate the viewership. I got to spend some quality time with Larry Brown on this tuna fishing trip we went on, and a great guy. I really enjoyed a very talented man too as far as the music and all. But Larry Brown, appreciate you watching the show and a great visiting with you. All right, let's take a break and we'll be right back. Okay, welcome back, and look who's here this morning, Officer Travis Bassford, FWC.
Good morning.
Good to have you.
Good to be here.
We got all kinds of stuff to talk about. Dove season opening up and all. We got red tide going on, and as always, he's so organized. You got a good list there. So let's get started, buddy. What you got?
A little bit of everything. I think one thing that's on everyone's mind, excuse me, if you like saltwater fishing, is the red tide in our area. And it's here. They've done some testing, and we know it's a naturally occurring algae bloom. And unfortunately, there's a lot of fish that get killed because of it. Kind of the silver lining and a good thing for our area, from what I've seen and what I've heard, it doesn't look like it's pushed too far in our bays yet. And when I say our bays, the bays of Bay County. Haven't heard it, West Bay, East Bay, North Bay, mainly around the pass, and then all on the coast, all the way down to, into Walton County, and then now it's pushing east from what I've heard. Yeah. I think you've heard the same thing, but hopefully it doesn't get in our bay. But, the thing about it, we can't control it. It's just a naturally occurring thing, and hopefully it'll get out of here sooner rather than later, because it has killed a lot of fish.
Oh, let me mention this on the humor side of this. Some guys that don't like people fishing in their area. One guy said the red tide is all the way up in the Choctaw River. Don't go fishing there. That's false news. And people say, it's an Apalachicola River too, but it doesn't get in fresh water. So if you hear that, that's not true. They're just trying to scare you away from their fishing spots.
That's funny. Yeah, that's one way to do it. Because people don't want to be around it. It causes that respiratory distress and stuff like that. But red tide, it's been bad. Really bad this year in Southwest Florida. And although there hasn't been any executive orders up here, I wanted to relay something that was that they did down there. They actually made it catch and release only for snook and redfish. This was about a month ago they made down there because that fishery took such a hard hit from the red tide. Again, we haven't heard anything as far as our area up here, but that was in effect down there, kind of Manatee County, Collier County area in Southwest Florida. Hopefully ours gets out of here and we don't have to do stuff like that. But it's just a naturally occurring thing, and nothing we can really do about it once it's here. So other than that, we had a busy weekend this past weekend. Opening day of dove season, phase 1. We had opening day of early wood duck and teal, and a lot of people went out. We're out there hunting over the weekend. I know I worked it, and I worked some here in Bay County, but we had people all over the region, you know, working, and
was it overall a pretty good shoot? Overall, you think?
Pretty good. Most people followed the rules. We had some that didn't, and
the first question I asked when I walked in the door, the first question, I said, "Well, did y'all bust them this weekend?" Because I know every year there's some morons out there that still think the laws for other people and all. So I mean, every year that happens.
It does, and that's why we're out there, to try to get those people and try to correct that stuff. And we got one case of the month we'll talk about.
Okay.
But overall, pretty good, and most people were successful, especially the dove hunters. Duck hunters did okay. You know, we've got a lot of water from all that rain, so a lot of the ponds and cypress ponds and backwaters and stuff have water, so those ducks are kind of spread out. But a lot of people had a good time going. It was hot, I know that. I mean, there was no coolness in the air. I mean, it was, you know, 90s, you know, Saturday and Sunday where I worked, so it was warm. But one thing about dove season that's important, I wanted to relay to everyone, is I talked about, we had a couple changes this year, and I talked about last time I come on the show before the season opened. One of the big changes was that phase 3. You know, we have the 3 phases during dove season. Phase 3 got extended till the end of January. Okay, January 31st. So that just extends that opportunity for people that want to hunt late season. You get those migratory birds down here. We have consistent cold weather, usually across the country in January. So that was a big change. But another one, as long as I can remember, phase 1 has been, the shooting hours have been from noon until sunset. Okay, that changed this year, kind of, and I want to explain that. So on private lands, there's no shooting hour requirement of waiting till noon. So you can do your normal migratory bird shooting hours, which is a half hour before sunrise until sunset. You can do that for all 3 phases now on private lands.
Okay.
However, this does not apply to public lands. So phase 1 it's still going to be that noon until sunset.
Okay.
So it's kind of want to clear that up. So private's different than public, and you know, a lot of people do different things. We have a lot of special opportunity dove hunts. We have a lot of fields that are planted on our state forest and wildlife management areas, and those hours will remain noon until sunset for phase 1. But on private lands, you can hunt in the morning, basically, if you wanted to during that phase 1. And typically, and you know, say traditionally, people hunt in the afternoons during that first phase anyway. But now it gives you the option if you want to go in the morning. So that's a pretty big change for people that are, you know, hardcore dove hunters. We had wood duck and teal open up. Remember, wood duck and teal, that's the 22nd through the 26th, so that's about to go out as far as wood duck and teal, and then it'll be teal only the 27th through the 30th. So like I said, the dove hunters seem to be more successful than the duck hunters. I'll put it to you that way. But still, people were out there, you know, going out there and duck hunting, so it was good. One more thing about early wood duck and teal, only 2 wood ducks. During regular season, you can have 3, so I wanted to bring that up. Did you get any pictures from dove or?
We did. Well, I got some good dove pictures. I didn't get many duck pictures. My barometer each year on opening season, I can hear, you know, from Deer Point Lake shooting from my bedroom, from my house. At crack of dawn. And I heard this year, you know, I always go from 1 to 10. I say this year is probably about a 5 as far as maybe even a 4. There wasn't a lot of shooting.
Right. Yeah, I don't live too far from Deer Point myself. And Saturday I heard quite a few shots. Worked Sunday, and I worked Saturday afternoon, but you know, it wasn't like opening day of regular season. You know, we just don't have as many birds.
So. Here. All right, we're going to take a quick break. Be right back with Travis. All right, welcome back. Now, Travis did not all work. They do get to play some. They give you a couple days off every now and then.
Every once in a while we do.
And tell us about this trip down here. We got some great pictures. We're going to show Travis and the family. Tell us about a little trip you and your family had.
Oh, we had a great time. Went over and stayed at Coach let us stay over there at his beach house on the Cape. I know, you know, he's talked about that on the show a lot. And it was just an awesome trip, awesome house, and we had great weather. Went over there with some family, and of course took little Isabella, and her first scallop trip.
This is her first scallop trip, so let's take a look at it. Look at her. Look at this.
Oh, she loved it.
Is she happy or not?
I'm tell you what, that's joy right there. And you know, she had a great time. It actually took my wife's parents from Puerto Rico, their first time going scalloping.
Awesome.
So they got to experience that, and look at the weather. I mean,
was it a beautiful day?
It was. I mean, it was just awesome out there, and we did not get a limit, but we got enough to eat, and she got a scallop on
Got a little shade.
Yeah, she loved it, man.
Y'all raising her right here.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
That's some great pictures. Y'all had a great time though, didn't you?
We did. I mean, it was awesome, and like I said, just the time together with family and watching them be able to experience that for the first time. I grew up doing it. I hadn't been over there in years, because it's kind of been down, and it was beautiful.
It's pretty convenient too, isn't it? Have a house right there, and
yes,
it's convenient.
Very convenient. We just went right down the state park, launched. 5 minutes down the road. It was awesome.
That'll spoil you.
Yep.
Okay. And what else? You want to talk about the blue water?
Sure,
pictures?
we can. I don't know if y'all have heard, but there's been a good push of blue water, and this is a good friend of mine I grew up with, Kenny Cullen, with a nice wahoo he caught offshore this past weekend. But they went out, they caught a couple nice bull dolphin, wahoo, some blackfin tuna, trolling off Panama City.
Explain to them about what we're talking about, the push of blue water.
Well, basically, that stuff is usually, it's where a lot of the pelagics hang out, and for different reasons. But for whatever reason, it kind of came in closer than usual. You usually have to run 40, 50, 60 miles to find that. It's kind of like it can be a depth thing, but it pushed way into, almost 20 miles, which is reachable for a lot of, recreational fishermen. And they did really good. Yeah, those blackfin, they had I think 3 on at once. They landed 2. Pretty good sized fish, and then wahoo, dolphins. You usually have to run so far off, but just more within range, and they had a really good day out
I've
there.
seen a lot of pictures posted this last 2 weeks, and because of that reason right there, a lot of mahi.
Absolutely, and they even, I think they said they even hooked a sailfish out there and that stuff.
That's been good.
So,
all right, now let's get back to dove shooting, because that's what you want to go cover. Most people we all try to obey the law, but sometimes we got to make sure we understand it.
Right, and so we'll just dive right into it and go into it in detail a little bit, because we have questions on it all the time, and like you said, a lot of people do want to follow the law, and basically I'm going to read a little bit of it actually verbatim, and then we'll talk about it. But when it comes to hunting migratory birds, doves are considered migratory birds. As Fish and Wildlife officers, we enforce the Migratory Bird Treaty Act. Migratory birds are regulated by the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service. So I'm going to read some of the actual verbiage here when it talks to what is a baited area and what is considered, legal to hunt on. So a baited area is any area in which salt, grain, or other feed has been placed, exposed, deposited, distributed, or scattered. If that salt or grain or other feed could serve as a lure or attraction for migratory game birds to or on over areas where hunters are attempting to take them. Any such area will remain baited for 10 days following the complete removal of such salt, grain, or other feed. So 2 things there. We kind of defined a baited area. Okay. It basically, if you take, and again, salt, wheat seed, cracked corn, whole corn, you take that grain and you scatter it out on a field, and it's not from that field, that's baited area. That is considered a baited area. The second part of that about the 10 days that a lot of people didn't know, let's say you did that to attract birds, and you say, well, I'm going to do this way before season, and then we're going to hunt it. If a bird came in there and ate every last piece of wheat seed or corn, it would still be a baited area for 10 days, according to this rule. So a good rule of thumb is just don't do that. Okay, so that's considered a baited area. And here's another thing too that a lot of our rules kind of go in. Doves, waterfowl, they may not be taken by aid of baiting or on or over any baited area where a person knows or reasonably should know that the area is or has been baited. If you get invited to a dove hunt and you're walking out on the field and you see cracked corn, you see wheat, you see bird seed, you see salt, and it's spread out like that, and you're in a grass field, there's no corn, there's no, that's your responsibility to know. So that's kind of the person knows or reasonably should know.
And some people think they're exempt because they're invited as a guest. I didn't throw it out, but you see it's all around you, you see it, but you can't do that.
Exactly. So the burden is on the hunter itself, not the actual landowner or anything like that.
If you were to throw the seed out and all, and you wait to 10 days, and there's still some seed or some cracked corn there, let's use cracked corn.
Sure.
Cracked corn there after 10 days. and now people go in to hunt it. Is it baited?
Can't do it.
Still baited because it's cracked corn, even though you did it 10 days ago.
Exactly.
So you got to get the birds to eat it all up.
Basically, or just do it legally, which we're going to get into here to begin with.
Okay,
legally. Next.
All right.
And that's the thing too. There are people and a lot of hardcore dove hunters and people that have done it for years. They'll plant crops specifically for dove, sunflower, millet. Different things like that. Some people even plant peanuts and corn, and some people will hunt actual, ag crops of that. So now let's get into what's legal. We know what's not legal.
Okay.
So what is legal? And up on our place, we're blessed to have land up in Jackson, and we just hunt a peanut field. That's a normal, if the birds come
agricultural crop.
That's a normal crop, and you're just hunting that. And they've done corn up there too. So this is the thing. If you were to plant something particular for dove, okay, you can manipulate that crop a little bit.
Okay.
By disking, by mowing, okay, come bush hog it, stuff like that spreads out. That is considered, it's an alteration of the natural vegetation, but it's part of the agricultural process. Okay, so if say you plant a millet field a few months before season and it grows up, and a week before dove season, you come in there and bush hog some lanes through there, okay? So you can drive down, put people out. That's legal. You can do that. If you hunt a peanut field that's being harvested in late September, October, that's legal, okay? So those are kind of the ways you can do it legally. Once you start scattering and distributing salt or grain, it becomes you're walking a fine line because you got the 10-day rule and things like that. So I just wanted to go over that. I know there's been
Y'all got it straight.
There's been a lot of questions about it. So
let's keep it natural.
Yeah, you can go online, myfwc.com, click on dove hunting, click on waterfowl hunting, and it'll actually go over and it'll have this verbiage in there. You can read it for yourself.
Okay.
And you can even call our office and we'll come out and look at a field and let you know
That's a great idea. If you have a question, do that.
Yeah.
Let's take our last break. We're going to come back with our case of the month. All right, welcome back. Our fishing game time today brought to us by Blue Water Outriggers. 132 to 332 this morning. We just passed that one, but this afternoon, 155 to 355. And it's a time for our entertainment section. We always like to entertain people in Panhandle Outdoors. Our case of the month, and this time of the year, you've got them by the big kudos.
We've got plenty of them. So this one kind of ties into what we just been talking about. I wanted to recognize Reserve Officer Lane Kinney.
Yeah.
Up in Washington County. He retired here in the last couple of years, and he's a reserve officer with us, which is kind of like an auxiliary program. They come out, they already know the job just as good, if not better than we do, and kind of like a force multiplier on holiday weekends or busy weekends, and they do a great job for us, and so does Lane. I mean, he's always been a great officer, and he made a really good case up in Washington County, and this was a case on a baited dove field. So I want to talk about a little bit of the particulars of it. So he went out there, he was conducting a resource inspection, license inspection on a field, and the way the field was set up, it was a strip of peanuts, followed by a strip of corn, and then next to that was a big strip of just freshly dished up, dirt. And he saw the birds kind of going over that dirt as he's doing his inspection. Said, dang, something's got to be out there, And he went out there, and sure enough, on that strip, there was just for several hundred yards, it's just cracked corn all over the place. So
wait a minute, they had peanut, they had natural food out there next to it. And all natural food, like you just said.
Legal stuff, yeah.
And then, but they hunted over the baited corn.
They did, yeah. And that's the thing. They had the things in place to hunt it legally, and decided to do that. And that's grain, feed, scattered, distributed. That's not part of that field, and you just can't do that. So great case by Lane. They cited 12 people on the field for hunting doves over
12.
bait. Yep. And he got with the kind of the guy, the head guy there on the field. And he basically admitted to it and said, hey, I put it out and it is what it is. So anyways, good case by Lane, and that just ties into what we were talking about. Just like anything in this world, there's a right way and a wrong way to do things, and they ended up doing it the wrong way that day. But good case by Reserve Officer Lane Kenny up there in Washington County.
Well, in that particular case, I've never heard of that when you got legal, right next to it, when you got legal stuff right next to it.
Yeah, usually it's one or the other.
Yeah, either baited all the way or either legal all the way.
Right. So I don't know why they did that, but they did. And
y'all get a chance, y'all do these perpetrators that do these things, y'all please call me up and explain to me your thinking on that. I just don't understand it. I'm serious. I don't know if they're going to get away with it, or just you shoot 2 or 3 more doves than somebody else, or what?
Yeah, maybe that's it. Maybe
they
wanted some more birds to come in. I'm not sure, but anyways, it was a good job by
and you know what I hate to say in all seriousness. When you have young people with you and you're doing that kind of stuff, you're teaching them that it's okay to break the law, and some people get away with it. We don't catch 100% of them.
No, we sure don't.
So you've been a bad example in teaching that young person that, okay, I can fudge a little bit, and next time they're going to do it. So I hate to see that. I really do.
I know, yeah, and sometimes there are youngins out there and kids and stuff like that. But anyways, it's been a good start to hunting season for us. Most people trying to follow the law, and we're out there to facilitate that, and then try to catch the people that aren't. Excited for everything coming up. We've got archery coming up for deer. It's going to be, and then we've got all these bird seasons. It's going to be a busy fall.
It's about to get caught. You got a situation where y'all going to be working almost every weekend. Just about somebody's going to be out there.
Oh yeah. We're always out there on the weekends. Yes, sir. That's busiest time for sure.
And there's also night hunting going to pick up a little bit, I guess.
It is, and believe it or not, they're starting to do that. It's like I said, as soon as the bucks start to get antlers, it's a little more enticement, I guess. But and then last time we had that deer case back in August or whatever.
Yeah.
So they're going to do it, and we know that, and they know that. So we'll be out there for sure.
Travis brought up a really good point now. Any questions, especially on whether you're baited up, if you feel it's baited or consider not baited, give these guys a call. Prevention is what everybody wants to do, prevent it before it happens.
Absolutely.
An ounce prevention worth a pound of cure. So try to prevent it all ahead of time. I know it's important you do that.
Yeah, absolutely. Give us a call anytime, and if you got a question, say, hey, I'm not sure if my field's right, call us. We'll come out there, we'll look at it and say, hey, this is good to go, this isn't, and learn from it next time. So,
all right. Sounds good. Thank you, buddy.
Always enjoy it.
Good job. Appreciate all that work y'all do. I always appreciate you as a viewer, and I don't care if you're watching from Bunker or from T-Loja, we appreciate the viewership. We always ask you to do something good for a fellow man, help them do good things, and you do good things, and you have a great day and enjoy the great Florida Panhandle outdoors, and God bless.
Thanks for watching America's only daily outdoor TV show, Panhandle Outdoors with Winston Chester, featuring hunting, fishing, and other activities and information to help you enjoy the great outdoors. Join us next time for Panhandle Outdoors.